What's up, y'all? Let's get straight to it. Now, I've been hit up by a few people behind the scenes discussing what's going on right now in our current events. We was right again, Poe. Another prediction comes true. The unraveling, the revelations, things you thought you'll never see in your lifetime are taking place in 2024. I don't want you to be distracted, but what you really need to be focused on, at the same time, I want to offer you some solutions. So today, we're going to discuss a problem, an issue taking place in our community, and I'm going to give you a solution. Now, one of the crazy stats I've seen here lately is the increase in the wealth gap. Are my people aware of the wealth gap? What I'm talking about? What they do with the Census Bureau? What all these think tanks come up with? The comparison of wealth, income, generational wealth between races? Well, at this point, the black family is at the bottom of the barrel. The wealth gap between white families has increased by over $1 million. A lot of this contributed to, they're saying here lately, is the COVID, racial inequalities in home ownership, systemic racism, all that combined, whatnot. But like I said, we're gonna get to one of the solutions. But the average wealth was $1.3 million for white families, $227,000 for Hispanic families, and $211,000 for black families. What's in those numbers is not only like what's generated with your income, it also includes retirement savings, life insurance, investments, capital on hand, and debt. $1.3 million, over $1 million wealth gap. Now the raw number is the median wealth. The median wealth is $284,000 for white families, $62,000 for Hispanic families, and $44,000 for black families. I would say the best way to describe that median number is what the real number is, including everybody. That's more of a micro number, and the $1.3 million is a macro level. That's basically what they're saying. So on a grand scale, nationwide, everybody included, billionaires, poor people, everybody, it's a $1 million wealth gap. But on a micro level, what you got cash on hand, what you looking at liquid, if you cashed everything out, what you can put in your pocket, $284,000 is liquid for a white family, $62,000 is liquid for a Hispanic family, and $44,000 is liquid for a black family, which puts our community at the bottom. I don't mean to be Mr. Doom and Gloom. Woe is us. What's the solution to this? The solution to this is a key, what they put in there. They said the biggest contributing factor between these racial gaps in wealth is home ownership. What have the Black P.O.E. been preaching over here for the longest time? Go buy God's land. Go buy your home. It's not about necessarily the home, but it's about what you can borrow against it. The equity, the access to resources. That's what it's about. Because when you have a house, right, you have equity in there. You can get what they call a line of credit. You take that line of credit and go invest in a business. Generate more money, generational wealth. Buy life insurance policies. That's a big thing. I talked about that 100 times over here. I talk about it in the Black P.O.E. But that home ownership, that's where it's at. My brothers and sisters, with everything taking place in the news, everything you seeing happen right before your eyes, home ownership should be mandatory at this time. Let me explain why to you, right? Here we go. I got to get spiritual on you. Let's say all hell breaks loose. Matthew 24, those seals are broken. Revelation is revealing itself right before your eyes, right? In other words, if everything collapses, the economy, a crash, attack, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Well, our whole process, our whole system of life crumbles, which can happen. It can happen with a space attack. I don't even want to get into that. Well, I talk about the predatory satellites, how everything we do, our military, everything runs off GPS satellite, how our enemies have predatory satellites up there with nuclear weapons that can knock our shit down, and we'll be blind to any attack that happens on us. Anyway, we'll be blind, period. The whole banking system will crumble. You see what's going on with the cyber attacks? That's a warm-up. Not if, but when that happens, my people, God's children, you're going to have to be sovereign on your own land. Let me tell you what's going to happen if you're renting a home, if you're an apartment, if you don't own that piece of property that you're on. The owner's going to come and be like, you need to get the fuck out of my property. This is my sovereign land. I'm housing this shit. You can stay here one night. It's going to cost you $1,000 a night to stay on my sovereign land. And I'm going to defend it at all costs. My resources, my garden area, whatever it is, this shit is mine. If you don't own that home, like I said, the banks done crumble at this point. That shit is yours. If you don't have no paper locally with a deed saying that shit's yours, you have to get the fuck out of that shit and be on the streets in total anarchy. And imagine the streets looking like the purge. Is it making sense now? You have to be able to lock down the land that you have. Because you never know. Let's give you an example, right? Let's say you own 3 homes. All hell done broke loose. You got some people, your family, living in apartments, whatnot, they ain't got kicked out of their shit. Well, then you need to put them in a house. You need to provide community shelter for them. Everybody's gonna do it. But we don't own a home. We don't have resources. We don't have a line of credit right now to even get prepared. The fuck we doing? This home ownership by any means necessary. What that means is getting that credit score up, getting that income up through entrepreneurship, through multi-hustle. If you don't understand what multi-hustling is, I got a book for that. But this ain't about me pushing no fucking books at this point. I'm just trying to wake you up. If you've been rocking with the Black P.O.E, author Edgar Alan Cole, you know about from no collar to a white collar. Well, I give you a 6-figure business plan. That book is over 10 years old. I predicted way back then in 2011 when I wrote that book how important multi-hustling is and becoming an entrepreneur and developing home ownership. I stand on this shit. I just ain't always been on YouTube. Like one of my first videos I made, I told you I done created over $2 million worth of wealth at this point. Not for myself necessarily, but I'm talking about everybody plugged in to our little investment club. Listen, y'all, you have no idea how important home ownership is at any age. Fuck the interest rate. Get what you can afford at that interest rate and refinance that shit when these interest rates fall. They gonna have to fall. If the interest rate keeps climbing and never comes down, that's the beginning of the end for our country anyway. So for us to even survive, those interest rates are going to have to come down. And you refinance that highest interest rate when you bought that house and be on solid ground, then you be able to create that generational wealth with that line of credit that you can get with that equity and knock out the high interest rate and that payment. You understand? Am I making sense to you? Home ownership is the way to correct that wealth gap. And not only just getting a damn house to sit in, get some land. Buy land. Why the damn house sitting on it? But I'm talking about what could possibly take place sooner than later. You need to have solid, sovereign territory. You need to have sovereign land that you can stand on. This is my deed. This is my shit. I'm not going anywhere. Who do I pay? What mortgage? The bank has crumbled. The stock market has completely crashed. It's anarchy. You see these motherfuckers jumping off buildings. You know that happens, right? That happened during the Great Depression when the stock market crashed. Those investment bankers and all those people who worth some money, they couldn't take it. They got the jumping asses off buildings. The same thing will happen now. It's going to happen. Not if, but when that shit collapses. If all hell breaks loose. That Matthew 24 I talk about. And them seals get to being broken. I ain't gonna do that to you. But you understand what I'm saying. I know I scare a lot of y'all with that. What I'm just telling you right now. Go buy a house. Get your sovereign land. Get your water filtration system. Get your canned goods. Get your dry goods. Get your survival kits. Get your bug out bags. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. One team.